6 years ago today, I full sent and left my job to pursue all of this.
An ocean, a cave, a dream that no one could save, a shelter, a whole act, a light that died with the night. You and I, we got our differences. Yeah, I thought we were more alike than unlike.
So before we get to the how, I feel like it's only respectful to start off with the why. And I think the why is the relatable thing. Why did I want to pursue all this? Like, what was going on in my life that made me go after all these things and find these objectives that I wanted to complete? 2010, I was an absolute mess. I came from small town Ohio, and honestly, I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And it was scary because I was turning 20 at the time. And coming from this small community, it was really tough to just like be me, because the judgment was like always there. As much as people mean well, you just knew that if like you weren't doing the things that like everybody else was doing, you're like weird, right? And I always knew that I had some kind of ambition for something else. And back then, we really didn't know anything about any of this. Like the first time I discovered like a hustle or a side, like, oh wow, I can make money like this. I was doing a lot of graphic design work as a teenager for bands in the local area. Little did I know that that would turn into something huge for me down the line. But moving into 2011, I was really into playing Call of Duty, right? And there was something about watching these sniping montage videos at the time that just like sucked me in to this whole Call of Duty sniping community. Watching videos from Agony, Predator, and seeing how creative these guys can get and doing something that they enjoy. I don't know, there was something that was just so contagious about that for me. So I started to utilize graphic design in the same way. I made these Call of Duty montages, I did the content with them, and then also I utilized my graphic design craft to become better at it and kind of work alongside a lot of these people, make YouTube videos and content around that. At the time, I was working my typical small town factory job, and I had just one of those days where it was like an epiphany moment, like a defining factor, honestly, while I was sitting in my car during lunch break. I just knew that I could not continue to go down this path. As I was sitting there watching YouTube videos with my buddy, there's just that like turning point where I was like looking at this device, watching a YouTube video. I was like this, I want to do something with this. For 2 to 3 years, I came home and hustled. Over the course of the years, I stopped partying, stopped going out all the time. I would get off work, I would grind designs, YouTube videos, teach myself how to do stuff, build up clientele for hours into the evening. There was a certain point where I was like, I'm gonna full send this. I did leave my job for a little bit, and it honestly was just not the right time. I crashed and burned real quick and went back, worked for another few years until I knew that I was like 100% ready to take on BigE, to take on all of this. So 2015, I left. I had a little bit of savings for a what if moment. I had some credit lines, and I just full sent. The next few years was astonishing. I knew that I enjoyed graphic design, but like the obstacle of going from something that we're kind of like brought up in life to follow, like especially in a small town, this like routine of you graduate, you either go to college or you get a factory job, you get right to work, you start becoming an adult, and kind of like going against that grain and doing my own thing and kind of realizing like, wow, you know, it took me a little longer, but I was able to teach myself this. And then I was able to find value in this. And then not only that, I was able to do it in a community and industry that a lot of people would laugh at, the gaming industry. But it was huge for me It was such an inspiration for myself and others. And the success was good, honestly. Like, I was grinding behind the scenes. Every year, my revenue was going up, my clientele was going up. I was working on bigger projects, working with some of the biggest names in the industry. But there was just, again, something while I was going through those moments that I knew, like, no, this just isn't it for me. During that time, in the process of being a graphic designer, I wanted to start offering something new for creative packs. And I wanted to start taking photography, so I invested into a camera. Little did I know that would change everything for me.
There's a world inside my head.
I utilized that first. I took pictures of textures, stock images to utilize for graphic packs for other freelance inspiring designers out there. It became this awesome form of passive income that allowed me the opportunity to slow down at the time on projects and kind of learn more about this. And then that's the time where I kind of like realized, like, hey, this is a great opportunity to connect this thing right here that I have some new interest into the original spark for all of this, which was YouTube. So in May 2016, I started a YouTube channel and I started teaching myself how to use a camera. During that time, Casey Neistat was all the rave. Everybody was all about him. So I mimicked a lot of his stuff. And then I discovered Peter McKinnon, a few other amazing YouTube creators at the time. Moving into 2017, I really challenged myself at the start of the year to go out and create every single day in Ohio, a place that didn't have a lot to offer. I made so many horrible videos and took so many crappy photos. I mean, horrible stuff. Do not go back and look at some of those, the worst of the worst. It's no reason why none of that grew, and I got no attention for that. But just like with the graphic design when I first started into this new like aspect of something, there was this drive or want to learn more, like to constantly, whenever I get the opportunity, to grind. Obviously at the time, photography and videography was not my full-time gig. The graphic design was. So I had to make sure I was getting these projects that I was working on done and out of the way and keep everything organized. In the meantime, that is why I took the opportunity to document with this thing, so I could learn so much more about the camera and teach myself slowly, day by day, to get better at everything. Fast forward a year and I got my first creative director job with a company. A company called Tiger Fitness took a chance on me and allowed me to create multiple forms of content for them. Anything from photography to graphic work for ad promos, header designs for customers within the company itself, to full-blown launch products like commercial shoots with gear that at the time I couldn't even afford. It was huge. It was a big year for me. And there's actually a point that year where I came once again to this like crossroad. I had the opportunity, an offer on the table to take a full-time position and move to that area. And I just couldn't do it. I couldn't give up on what I was doing or what I've done. And at the time, this was a dream job for me. No stress, the facilities there, this whole entire environment for me to just go and create behind the scenes. I get paid weekly on time. I don't have to do my own taxes, like benefits, like you name it. It's all there. But like a part of me just felt like I'd be giving up on myself. And I didn't want to do that. So I turned it down. And moving into 2018, 2019, I really started to full send into streaming and YouTube videos. During that year, I met some of the most amazing people that I've ever met in my entire life. I've had some of the biggest streams that I've ever had in my entire life. I made the biggest video on this YouTube channel on a whim in the process of moving down to Charlotte, North Carolina. We finally got out of that like small town area to pursue all this. It was not easy. There were some stressful times. I will 100% admit that. But once again, I just utilized what I did. I used that hunger to continue to learn more about this stuff, to learn more about building my brand, building my content, to get it done. And then 2020 was just an up and down year, man. Just fine tuning my craft, moving into this new house, just everything that we've had to go through as a society. But yet, once again, another year still pushing through and making it, because of the ambition for what I want to achieve is greater than the weight of wanting to give up sometimes. As I mentioned lately, I've been wanting to get more just out and about. I don't know, just do some things. We have the lifestyle, we moved to this area. I know COVID's really turned some things around, but the best advice I could give anyone is just not to give up on yourself, not to doubt who you are, not to doubt what you are capable of doing when your back is up against the wall. I know those moments where you're doing something right now in your life that you don't want to be doing. And it seems near impossible to watch a creator like myself or much larger than me say hey, you could do these things. I was sitting in your shoes at one point in my life watching content like this thinking there's no way in hell I could do this. I am stuck here. But you don't understand. My situation is different. Trust me. I watched myself, I watched friends in the community all go down these wonderful, lucky ass paths at times, but we were doing it. We were getting it done. As a creator and artist, there's just many times where the fear of failing is outweighing anything that you want, or maybe even the fear of success. What do you do if it actually happens? But I'm telling you right now, if you take the chance to do the stuff and come across those obstacles when they're there, and just take a moment and take a breath and assess everything that's going on. Slow down. Don't think about the future. Don't think about the past. Just think of where you are right now. Once you slow down and go through those experiences, you're gonna see how easy it is to overcome them. So my advice to you is find that thing that genuinely makes you happy. Find that thing that if you have to work your full-time job, what can you give up all the bullshit to do for countless hours in the evening? Find that thing that can turn you away from the bad habits that you do in your day. Find that thing that challenges you to become a better person. But here's the key. When you find it, don't stop. Don't doubt yourself. Don't compare yourself to others. Just go. And see where it brings you. That's all I got for you guys.